Good evening, I'm Gina Quattrochi.
And I'm Jeff Smith. Thanks for joining us tonight. A Lafayette man is sentenced this afternoon to 80 years in the Department of Corrections for the July 2011 murder of Jeremy Gibson.
News 18's Krista Henry was in the courtroom as 21-year-old Darren Englert was read his sentence by the judge. She joins us now with more on this story. Krista.
Well, Jeff and Gina, obviously an emotional day for the Gibson family, as this was the final piece to what they call just a horrific trial. Now, in November, Englert was found guilty on multiple charges, including conspiracy to commit murder in the beating death of 26-year-old Jeremy Gibson. Gibson's body was found buried in a field in Tippecanoe County after acid was poured on him to hide his identity. In March, Englert pleaded guilty to the murder, but later submitted a letter to the court claiming he was not of sound mind when he entered his plea. The judge rejected the request. Today, several people took the stand, including a witness for the defense. Dr. Vanderwater-Piercy testified, saying that after nearly 9 hours of tests and evaluations, he concluded that Englert suffered from a dependent personality disorder. Dr. Vanderwater-Piercy suggested he was a follower and dependent on Antonio Williams, who was also charged with the murder of Gibson, and that test showed it was, quote, highly unlikely Englert would have initiated this murder on his own. Englert's grandma and wife expressed with much emotion that Englert was never a bad person and that he was intimidated and scared of Antonio Williams, and that's why he took part in the crime. They asked the judge to consider Englert's 1-year-old child. However, Gibson's aunt and sister also took the stand and shared memories of Gibson. They both asked the judge to consider the maximum of 87 years behind bars, but they say even if Englert was sentenced to life in prison, nothing will ever bring back their loved one.
So it's hard because not a day goes by that I don't sob and cry and just long for him to be back.
I think, as we all know, this is one of the most brutal cases we've seen in Tippecanoe County, just due to as the court correctly pointed out in handing out the sentence, how many hours this crime took, and that none of these three co-defendants stepped away from it.
Now, earlier this month, 21-year-old Carol Ann Clear was sentenced to 44 years in prison for her role in Gibson's death. Clear admitted in court she helped murder Gibson last February. Clear pleaded guilty to a pair of felony charges, conspiracy to commit murder and fraud. Englert also spoke to the courtroom today, asking the Gibson family and his own family for their forgiveness. Antonio Williams was also charged with the murder of Jeremy Gibson. He died in jail after overdosing on methadone in January of 2012. Krista Henry, News 18.